Who would tell us of the things of old, of the things of old and of the things that have been, of the ungrateful peasant? Not far from the city of Kharkiv lived a proud and prosperous young peasant. Hard-working and self-reliant to the point of stubbornness, he never stopped to consider how others had helped him, the advantages his ancestors had left him with, or even the assistance his Domovik, the household spirit, the little fellow, the grandfather, had given him around the farmstead. Soon the farmer came to feel cramped in his chata, his house his family had lived in for generations, and he cared nothing at the thought of abandoning this dwelling of his ancestors for another chata he built nearby. It never occurred to him that it might be wise to invite the Domovik, the little fellow, to join him in the move. After all, it was my own efforts which brought me this far, and it will be by my hand that my farm shall prosper. Without a thought for the past or the future, he pulled down the old house and chopped up its timbers for firewood to feed the stove in his new home. But from the first, the move proved to be a disaster. The crops withered in the field, the livestock sickened in the stalls, the tools broke as soon as they were used. In short, everything that could go wrong did. The young man's health began to suffer as these trials strained him to the utmost, and his fortunes steadily declined. He worried what went wrong and found himself either unable to sleep or troubled by nightmares, and often found himself walking at night. One night he walked past the site of his ancestors' homestead, the one he'd abandoned so thoughtlessly. From the heap of ashes which buried the old peach, the massive stove, a mournful voice could be heard complaining how the old grandfather had been abandoned and left alone when the family moved. Startled, yet strangely moved by the mystical voice, he traveled into the village and asked the village elders what this could mean and how to cure his woes. On the advice of the elders, the ungrateful peasant returned to the ashes of his old chata, his old house, with an offering of bread and salt, and he begged the Domovik to make his new home his own. From that day forth, he never looked back. His health recovered, as did the state of the farm. Once more, his house flourished, restored by the protection and goodwill of the Domovik. It was at the feast I heard this tale. There it was, I drank mead ale. Though it flowed down my beard, my mouth stayed dry, for never a drop passed my lips, swear I.